What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope you guys are all having a great day. All right. It's been a pretty solid morning. I'm actually really excited. So to end this week on a green note, yesterday we had a pretty solid day trading. It was really one trade that really pushed me through my daily goal that you guys all saw happen live. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I am still investing in. I went ahead and I locked in profits on ticker symbol DGAS not that long ago. So what I did was I went right on over here, right? And it sold 14 shares of DGAS at the average price of 14.65. Look at where it's at right now, 14.90, 14.92, obviously pushing up very aggressively. Let me tell you on why I felt so comfortable locking in profits. So when it comes down to /NG, /NG was showing signs of rejection, right? So it sold off below the middle VWAP, sold off, pushed up. I should have locked in profits originally, pushed up, sold off again, and I ended up selling at pretty much when it almost started breaking even at that support right around like the 321 to 320. I did not know that it was going to continue to make lower lows. It actually kind of sketched me out that it was consolidating here for such a long time before it actually ended up getting rejected. So that's why I felt so comfortable selling my position on DGAS and locking in the $210 profit right before the market opened. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is to make sure that you take into consideration yesterday's highs. That's around 520, so I'm going to set an alert there letting me know that yesterday those were the highs. So that could be a high of day today, especially that it made lower lows today. So maybe it might not even hit highs of 1520, but that's definitely something that I want to keep in the back of my head before I end up taking my next position. Congrats to all those that held TNDM. TNDM absolutely killed it. Right after the live stream, I had that really nice push up, sold off, and it just did an absolute amazing job. I think it's one of its first days that it traded in between the middle and top VWAP for the entire day. Right? Not just for like the first hour, but for the entire day. It looks like it's very overextended as of right now, so it's up to you if you want to continue to hold this specific position. It wouldn't be such a surprise that it would pull back, especially as it's been above the EMA line. So let's just make sure that we take that into consideration and that you remember to lock in profits, right? Also, congrats to all those that are in Microsoft. Microsoft opening green, up over 2%. I think today, in general, right, everything should be opening up pretty solid. So let me go ahead and check this out. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to read some of the comments if there's any questions and stuff like that. But no, I think we're all good. So Microsoft is currently selling out or selling off. I apologize. It looks like it received a resistance right around or experienced a resistance right around 109.50, and it looks like there was this real. Do you guys see the difference from something like, let's say like something like DGAS, right? DGAS was showing signs of a really nice push up, or something like what could be like an ascending uptrend pattern, like JNUG. JNUG is showing more signs of an ascending uptrend pattern because it continues to make higher highs even after the market opens and even during pre-market hours. That's something that Microsoft was not doing. Do you guys see this? What's the type of pattern? Is it an uptrend, horizontal, or downtrend that we were experiencing during pre-market hours? That's showing us signs that it's potentially at its peak. What would you guys say? Uptrend, horizontal, or downtrend? That it's showing us that it's pretty much peaking out. Horizontal, correct? I think that's pretty easy to identify. So it's very important if you see a pattern that starts to really flatline that you consider the idea that, okay, if I'm investing in this to grow my account, then it really wouldn't make much sense, right? To invest in something that's not showing signs of it, progressively making higher highs, pulling back, not pulling back as low as it did before, so making higher lows as well, and then it continuing to uptrend. Now, I want to go back to TTQ. Let's see. Okay, so that one's opening up green, 7%. Holy moly. But that one sold off, didn't it, yesterday? No. JNUG with this huge sell-off. Let's check out what /GC is at. Let's see. forward slash GC. Again, it's kind of offering a horizontal pattern. Let's see what this dip buy is right now for JNUG. Oh, I like it. So I'm going to go in with 1,500 shares. At pretty much what is that? $8.8597, so pretty much $8.86. So from here, and then the resistance based off previous patterns. Here we go. Let's see if we get a rejection. Again, I went in with 1,500 shares, so that's a little bit over $10,000, which is a little bit over 33% of my normal position, right? Here we go. TNDM just broke above $36. UGAS just pulled back. So that means DGAS is trying to push up. Nice. Wow. I really sold early. What's new? Correct. Is it too early? Is it too early in total, like in general, to tell if JNUG or JDST is bullish or bearish on the day? 100% yes. As of right now, based off of pre-market hours, you can see that it's really just it's consolidating. It's a little bit more bullish for JNUG. As you can see that it was making higher highs and it opened with higher highs as well. So that's the only thing that it really has going for it. Other than that, then yes, I do agree. Even looking at forward slash GC, you can see that it's really just starting to consolidate, right? It's kind of just flatlining. It's not making higher highs, nothing of that sort. Looking at the 5-day, yeah, it's almost flatlining. So definitely something that we want to take into consideration. Where's Tesla? Tesla had a nice recovery. Really nice push up. Drip had a really green day yesterday, selling off and trying to pick right back up. Let's see if it breaks above the SMA indicator. No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. So Gordo is asking, hey Ricky, do you hold with the avoid? Wait, do you hold with the avoid the first 15 minutes of the? So do I try to avoid the first 15 minutes? Was that your question of the market open due to the volatility? I don't know if that's the question that you're trying to ask. I'm sorry. Okay. I wouldn't even say that it's just 15 minutes. There's no exact, sometimes it's going to be much quicker than others, obviously, right? So one thing that I would focus much more on is just understanding general direction. And sometimes it might take 15 minutes. Sometimes you might be ready during pre-market hours if there's enough patterns showing signs that it's, progressively moving up. That's something that you have to, refine as time goes on. And I think not enough people emphasize that. Everyone tries to have this secret formula of okay, well, it's going to take 15 minutes and we should avoid the first 15 minutes due to volatility and it's too risky. No, not necessarily. We talked about it yesterday that, and I should probably make a video or a little bit more of a video about this in the course, but talking about the reason that I feel a little bit more comfortable trading, trading ETFs is because I can use the futures and the patterns, right, that they give to have a better understanding of what's moving up and what's moving down. I think that's easy, right? That's much easier said than done. That's much easier to understand. Now, sometimes, yes, it will take maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour to understand what direction the stock that you have interest in is moving, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I've even thought that's why sometimes once a week we go live 1 hour late, right? Not only for our people that can't tune in live, but also because we want to give the market a little bit more time to distinguish what direction it's going to be going. So if I'm watching TNDM, but during the first hour it continues to go up and it continues to go down, like it's very difficult for me to identify, do I want to invest in this if it's bullish, or is it bearish and do I not want to invest in it? So let me just give it time for it to identify, is it going to be trading between the middle and top view up or the middle and bottom view up? And then I can decide from there. Yeah, so is it possible to watch this video after you go offline, or does it get deleted? No, so every live stream that we have within Learn Plan Profit, you simply go to our Learn Plan Profit Discord chat, right? And you go to the morning chat library. I'm going to have to update it because the thumbnail would not update. But yeah, they're all provided for you right here according to the dates and stuff like that. So you can go as far back as, last year. So yeah. I didn't think that we were going to get rejected so early. We got rejected at around $9. That's ridiculous. Oh no. There it goes. How's this looking? And this is a perfect example of like when /GC is showing signs of an uptrend, yet JNUG is selling off, right? Which doesn't make sense. So yes, it's good to understand its overall direction for that correlating ETF in that future, but they're not exact representations, right? I think the ones that are like very similar, that are very close, that are much closer than this, would be something like natural gas and UGAS. I feel like these follow one another much closely, as well as I think it's UWT and DWT and /CL. Dang. Look at that. My goodness. This is so cool. How much did I miss out on? Let's see. About almost 3%. Again, I would have not known that it was going to go this high. So I sold exactly where I thought it made sense based on previous highs. So I could only trade again, and I could do you guys get that? Like why I sold at that specific price point? And I was being a little risky. I should have sold at 1460, but I sold at 1465. I'm trying to slowly, risk it to get the biscuit, But yeah, pre-market highs was around 1460, 1462. So that's why it made sense for me to lock in profits around that area. But yeah. Ricky, your TOS is delayed. I'm getting that it feels a little weird. But there's nothing that I can do about it. Risk it to get the biscuit. Oh, you guys already know. The stream is blurry. The stream shouldn't be blurry. You might want to check the little toggle, the little setting option, and make sure that you have it at 720p. Yeah, we have people saying that the stream is not blurry. Sure hope not. We have all these lights and this microphone. You guys could hear me probably better than I could hear myself. Okay, so obviously the direction. So let's talk about direction, right? What is showing signs of an uptrend? What is something that we could pay attention to? So let's update our watch list right now because today's Friday. We're gonna have to update it regardless, right? So Microsoft, is this a stock that I want to pay attention to? You have such dad jokes. Oh no. Well, okay. Okay, let's do this together. So when it comes down to Microsoft, what direction is this pointing? So we're going to be focusing mainly on day trades as of right now. Down, right? Microsoft is pointing down, so it makes no sense to really have it in my active uptrend watch list. I'll remove it, and then I'll just set my alert to see if it ends up reversing so I could follow up with it then. I think that makes sense, right? I removed it. Now, ticker symbol TQQQ. It's green on the day, so people might be like, wow, this might be something that I might want to pay attention to. Well, it's selling off right now in between the middle and bottom VWAP, but pre-market lows were around, this general area. So I'm going to alert. If it drops below, a pre-market low, then I could remove it from my watch list. Honestly, I'm not, I just have to be completely honest. It's too overextended. I'm really not going to trade this today, and I just have to admit that to myself. I mean, this thing still needs to identify more of a direction of it pointing up. So I don't feel confident, trading something like this right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my alert, right? And then I'm just going to remove it from my list. So ticker symbol JNUG, right? Ticker symbol JNUG was showing signs of an uptrend. Now it's showing signs of a downtrend, right? So the MACD is super oversold. The RSI is super oversold. Has it gone lower than pre-market lows? No, not necessarily. But I'm going to set my alert, right? I'm going to set my alert. And then I'm going to set my alert over here if we get the break above the middle VWAP. I'll follow up with this one. Ticker symbol DGAS. What do you guys think about DGAS? What do you guys think about DGAS? Again, let's take into consideration yesterday's highs were around 1520. Higher highs, it is overbought, but it is showing signs of an uptrend. Would it make sense? Like, it doesn't mean that it's a good buy right now, but would it make sense to watch DGAS as it can pull back and then continue to push up? It makes sense, right? So this could be a stock or an ETF that we might potentially see value in. It doesn't mean that you have to trade it, but it makes sense on why it could be attractive for a day trade. Makes hella sense. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. DRIP. What do you guys think about DRIP? Direction, again, day trade. Intraday opportunity. So looking at how it peaked out, the MACD was showing signs of it being a little bit on the overextended side. Now on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, we do see it pushed up, it got rejected. Right now, it's kind of like iffy. So people are saying, some of you are saying buy the dip. Sometimes some of you guys are saying like remove it, it's down. So I'm going to set my alert. If it drops below $6, which is pretty much pre-market lows, that means that it's most likely going to be selling off for the remainder of the day, which means that we probably would want to pay more attention to its inverse ETF, which is Gush, right? So I'm going to leave it here for now. No, I'm not. I'm not going to trade DRIP today. And I know I'm not. So I'm going to set my alerts, and I'm just going to remove it off my watch list. Again, regardless if it's pushing up, I just know I won't trade it today. Now, ticker symbol TNDM. Right? Okay, so as of right now, it had an aggressive push up, sold off, it's consolidating. I want to see if throughout the day it continues the similar pattern that it had and it followed through with yesterday, right? So I'm going to set my alert if it starts making higher highs, and this is one that I could see myself take a position on if it continues to uptrend. Ticker symbol UGAS, that's the inverse of DGAS, doesn't make much sense. I'll set my alert for the reversal, but other than that, not really too interested in this. And I'll also set my alert down here to see if it actually makes lower lows than it did yesterday, as that would be pretty interesting, right? So remove it from there. Ticker symbol CROX, drop down to 19. Let's see where this is at. Yeah, it still needs a little bit more confirmation. I'm probably not going to take a position on this one today, so I'll remove it from there. Now we move on to the next one. So next one is going to be ticker symbol Facebook. The reason DGAS just broke above yesterday's highs. So that's pretty solid. Okay, so Facebook, although it did push up and it opened up green, what is it doing right now? What is it doing right now? What do you guys see happening with Facebook? It's trending down, right? In between the middle and bottom VWAP. As of right now, it's selling off. Although it is opening up green, again, what's the direction? It's a downtrend. You guys know this, right? So it's downtrending, it's continuing to make lower lows, and it's getting rejected by this EMA line and this middle VWAP. So with that, I'm going to set my alert here and just go here, boom, boom, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave Facebook there because it's still a stock that oversold. What do you think about Twitter? Twitter's really consolidating, almost offering a horizontal pattern. I want to see if this one starts to make higher highs. So I'm just going to set my alert there, right? Shopify. Shopify with a really, solid push up. That's ticker symbol shop, right? Really solid push up, but it's now selling off during normal market hours. I'm going to set my alert as it gets closer to that SMA indicator, and then we could follow up with it then. Tesla showing a very similar pattern to Twitter, right? It's kind of like, consolidating. It's really riding that SMA line. So I want to see if it could continue to make higher highs. This wouldn't necessarily be something that I would be so focused on as a day trade, as probably the margins would not be, really worth it for me. Amazon. Okay. Amazon again consolidating right around the SMA line. It's up about almost 4%. That's pretty solid on the day. Yesterday did a lot of consolidation, and today it's pushing up. So, okay, it's trying to show signs of a potential reversal. Again, just know that last time it got rejected as well. So if you're buying here and then it gets rejected, you literally bought at the resistance. So this is why it's so important to be selective. It's up to you and how much you think that it's going to hold. But there's nothing wrong with waiting for just general confirmation of an uptrend, right? So, and then there's two more. We talked about Microsoft selling off on the day, and then ticker symbol SQ still getting rejected by that EMA line. And on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, it's showing signs of a downtrend. So we'll set the alert for the potential break above the middle VWAP, just like we have on every other descending stock for the day. So I like the reversal pattern that it's showing. Here we go. I don't know if you guys saw, but when I was up here and it was like around like 897, 898, something like that. Did you guys see how much I was up? Did any of you guys see that? This is the upsetting part. Within 5 minutes from when I bought the dip, 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, 4, 5, I was up, if I'm not mistaken, like $235, something like that. I did not lock in profits because I wanted to make an extra, 4 cents per share, 0.5%. Perfect example. I could have bought in the dip down here from the bottom of the MACD indicator, right? And I would have been up much more. Again, is the extra 4%, 4 cents, the extra 0.5% really going to benefit me? So let's talk about opportunity costs, right? You guys are all entrepreneurs. You guys are all investors, right? So is that extra 4 cents? Think about this long term. The extra 4 cents that I could have made per share, about 0.5%. Is that worth it to potentially get rejected, sell off, and then for me to get discouraged to ever invest in the stock market again? I'm putting myself in the perspective of, let's say I was a brand new beginner, right? Does that make sense? No. So how come so many people are so focused on not locking in profits, right? And not just focused on any time that you see any indication of a resistance or a pullback that you lock it in because you're so focused on not discouraging yourself for the future. Does that make sense? Okay. So, and again, that was my mistake, right? That was 100% my mistake. I didn't react quick enough. I was looking at the MACD and then all of a sudden I just started seeing it pull back. So I should have reacted a lot quicker when it came down to locking in profits. I was too busy. I don't know. I don't know if I was just too busy talking or what that was, but yeah, just did not lock in profits. And again, it's been getting rejected right now by this middle VWAP. So just something that we want to take into consideration. No. Yeah, how dare you? There you go. Okay, I like that. Yeah, and the whole point of that, like, little spiel that I just had is, you should be focusing in, investing in your future, right? And what I mean by that is making sure that you understand that it's so much more important, at least to me, to lock in profits now, regardless of how minute the profits might be, to build your confidence, build your experience, just build your tolerance for, investing in the stock market, and have it to be a good experience so you don't discourage yourself to ever invest again, right? Because if you continue to take red day after red day after red day, and you continue to make these mistakes of not locking in profits, continue to sell off, and you feel like the market's just against you, then guess what? You most likely will not want to invest in the stock market ever again, and then that's going to discourage you to ever want to, maybe even do this years down the road. And I feel like that's much more important. Doug, you said it. Yep. So is it better to focus on swing trading early than do scalping? It's the reason that I think that swing trading is a little bit easier at certain points is because the usual stocks that I swing trade are slower moving stocks. They're usually larger Fortune 500 companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, but the market has been extremely volatile. It's been extremely inconsistent, and that's why I haven't been swing trading as often, right? Even these ETFs that we've been trading, they used to, I don't know if you guys remember, in the beginning of this year, when I did my $5,000 to $25,000 challenge, it was so easy. It was much easier. I can't say that it was so easy, but it was much easier for us to swing trade DGAS for a number of days, JDST for a number of days, maybe even a week, because they were so consistent. And then all of a sudden, the volatility started to kick in. There started to be, one green day for, 2 red days. And then it was just like very inconsistent. I started to have pretty consistent red days. And it just, DGAS just broke above. Wow. Look at that. 15.48. Solid. But yeah, it just became very inconsistent. So I would focus much more on not should I swing trade now or day trade. I would focus on, do you see the consistency there? Like is the consistency present where, it makes sense? There's a lot of stocks that show consistent signs of an uptrend. We've covered them before, right? But maybe the margin of profit isn't that great, but that's okay. As long as you want to focus on understanding the pattern, understanding entry points, exit points, and with a slower moving stock, that might be your ideal niche. And then you can slowly, move into maybe slower moving day trades, and then more aggressive moving day trades, and then maybe more aggressive moving swing trades, and then make that fluid transition. So slowly refining yourself and stuff like that. So DGAS is making me smile. I bet if I was still in DGAS, that'd make me smile. I would have been up how many? Almost 14, well, in total, like $1,400. $1,400 to $1,600 is what I would have been up for the day. Dang it. Right? What a dingleberry mistake. It's all good. Ooh, I like that, Michael. Sweet, sweet. Yeah, so no, I'm not going to take a position on DGAS. I know, I do have, first, it's kind of like this is, I think, the best way to put it into perspective. And let's think a little bit more about this. Let's say I'm selling one of my cars, right? So let's say I'm selling a Mazda 6, right? I have a Mazda 6, and I posted it for sale. I bought it for $1,500, and I sell it for $3,000. Right? I just made $1,500 on my sell, right? I dedicated time and my effort to understand, what was a good price to buy it for, what was a good price to sell it for, and I successfully got a buyer at $3,000, made $1,500, locked in profits, walked away. This buyer bought it knowing that he had another buyer for, $6,000, right? And then I hear the story that, let's say I run into this guy and then he's like, yeah, I bought the Mazda 6 for $6,000, but I sold it to this guy for $3,000. I can't get upset that someone else took, a form of risk and saw some form of opportunity that I didn't see, right? And it's much easier for me to make sense of this when it comes down to, car flipping and stuff like that, or investing in cars, because the volatility is not there. I can't just get in and get out real quick with, necessarily investing in cars. It's a little bit different, obviously, right? But yeah, that I think that's the like a way to put it into perspective, that like, yes, I do wish that I probably could have, let's say, sold that car to that individual for $6,000. I would have made more money, just like I probably would have wished that maybe I would have held gas for a little bit longer, and it started showing signs of an uptrend. I could have gotten back in as I saw that it was aggressively moving up, but the risk was a little bit too high for me. Even at this point, it was very overbought, and the RSI and the MACD are not really indicators that are very relevant right now. It's all really just trying to bounce off the EMA line, and it's working well for DGAS, and that's great. But of course, I would have loved to take advantage of this opportunity, just like everybody else, right? But I felt like I locked in my profits where it made sense to me, and I'm still happy, right? I mean, to be able to have made the $210 profit in the short 30 minutes that I was trading, I think that's solid. That's something that not a lot of people get to do. Yes, this is a lot more money, but yeah. Have you ever considered selling 75% of your position when you are up and then set a trailing stop loss for the rest? Not necessarily. I mean, that's definitely an approach, but I have to pay commissions, right, for my trades, and I feel comfortable enough when I lock in profits. There are sometimes that, like, obviously when I sell, there's like the joke that it's gonna like continue to go up, and most of the times it does, but not a huge amount where I'm like, oh my god, like it happened, like it really discourages me. At that point, then it would make a little bit more sense to follow with a trailing stop loss and stuff like that. But usually I do a pretty good job where I lock in profits and maybe it goes up another 10 cents. Not usually another dollar like this, but you do better with other ones. And I still feel like I sold at a price point that made sense, and /NG was at a critical point where it could have gotten rejected. Like it could have gotten rejected at 1470 and then sold right back off, just as much as it could have gone up. And that's something that we have to make sense of. So we have TNDM peaking out as of right now, right around 3650. Okay, so you're using a brokerage with no commission. Okay, then yeah, that would make sense. Greg, so happy to hear that. And yeah, I mean, $200 takes me 13 hours to make it. I think like Guns is your username. I think that's something that we should take into consideration of, like how amazing it is to like have such accessibility to the stock market, because even like I don't know if you guys saw that video that we uploaded in the Facebook group for TechBud Solutions, but we had one of our members within Flipping Wheels over, and she shared her success story. And every 2 weeks she makes anywhere from around $1,300 to $1,500, right? And one of the things that she shared was, it's so crazy to her that this hobby that she picked up about investing in cars, that within 48 hours, she was able to make $1,700 profit with a $1,900 investment in a car, right? So she made $1,700 profit, what it usually takes her to make within a 2-week period, more than what she makes in a 2-week period. And she was able to do it within a much shorter period of time. And again, it comes down to the principle that, it's great to have that foundation, right? And that stable income. And that's something that I've always preached. But now that you're actively looking for new ways on how to make money, you try to find and learn more about these lucrative markets where you can really see this turnover. So yeah, I think it's something that we could definitely use for motivation. Watch out for this, guys. Looks like it might be dropping. It's something that it hasn't done before as of today's patterns. Do you guys see this? Great call, Dakota. Here we go. So can you walk us through how to buy and sell a position, or is this in the LPP video? Yeah, so it is in the Learn Plan Profit video. I do want to encourage, so we have been, experiencing a good amount of FAQs. We have a lot of new traders that are joining Learn Plan Profit. There's no question about that. And I want to shout out all the people that are already enrolled in Learn Plan Profit that have been so welcoming to these new traders and helping them with their FAQs, as not all of them are direct messaging us, but the direct messages that we are receiving, I want you guys to know that, if you're actively trading right now when you're still going through the course, that's probably, especially if you're trading with real money, that's probably not that's not the way that I would do it. I would go through the course, I would practice with paper trading, or I would buy one position, one share of whatever it is that I see value in to practice what I'm learning. But you should really be through 50% to 75% of the course to even be at that point where you should feel even somewhat comfortable and confident to understand what you're invested in. So again, if you haven't gone through the entire course and you're asking these questions, please just do your due diligence and you enrolled and invested in the course for a reason. Let's complete it. Let's practice it. It's going to take time. Let's not rush it. I don't want you to get discouraged, and I really need you to, cover that information before getting started. Wow, $467. John's super happy to hear that. Let's keep it consistent, right? So the $467 will only remain profit as long as we manage what we give back. So managing risk, right, every single time, and then making sure that we continue to invest in quality patterns to make sure that we don't give back what we invested in, right? Or what we've made. Okay, we have a couple of people calling out different stocks. So we already covered, I think, a good amount of things that were, okay. So Roku's definitely showing signs of an uptrend. DGAS just broke below its support. The thing that I would watch out for Roku is that it's, showing signs of an aggressive descending pattern. So if you want to treat it as a day trade, great. But other than that, if it's not progressively making higher highs anymore, I would personally stay away. So, yeah. Sweet. Holy moly, that's so cool. But yeah, that is really just it. I'll keep you guys up to date. So it looks like /GC is pretty close to its overall support. It looks like it's trending down to that bottom VWAP. So I'll keep you guys up to date with our overall position. And I'll keep you up to date if I end up taking another position. Again, I'm pretty much just watching JNEG right now. I'm watching DGAS to see if it sells off enough where I could find it and justify to be a good deal before it reverses back up today. TNDM is a little bit too overextended for me unless it really starts progressively making higher highs, which I don't think it has the momentum for. Maybe I would consider it. And then other than that, if I don't see anything else meet my criteria, I'm just, not going to force it. So looking at the overall patterns, especially right now for something like, JNEG is showing signs of a downtrend pattern. So I'm probably going to end up having to cut losses on this one. So I'll keep you guys up to date with the overall position and what ends up happening. And yeah. That's really just it. So DGAS is trying to show signs of a peak formation. I'm just going to set my alerts and then go from there. One of the questions is why don't I short the bigger stocks? I just don't short. It's not something that I feel comfortable with. So yeah, but I appreciate the offer. But yeah, that's really just it. So I hope you guys had a fun live stream. I feel like we talked about a lot about direction today, right? Understanding what's trending up, what's going down, what to pay attention to. And if you don't understand its direction, then maybe not taking initiative and taking action right away. Maybe taking a step back and then giving it a little bit more time for it to decide, which I think is definitely very a very good concept to have in mind, right? So I really do appreciate your guys' time. I hope you guys have an absolute amazing Friday and weekend. Please be safe, set a goal to learn something new. And for those that are just getting started, make sure that you set some time aside. Don't exhaust yourself with trying to complete the entire course. The course I know is only 7 hours. It should literally take you 2 weeks to complete at 30-minute to maybe 45-minute, periods. Everything that you learn, take notes, practice it, make sure that it sticks. Again, the only reason that you're going through the course is to learn the information. So make sure that that's your core focus: learning, practicing, implementing, and seeing if it works for you, and then refining it so it's unique to your specific trading style. So I want to wish you guys again an amazing Friday. Keep it simple, make someone smile today, learn something new, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.